Evening, everyone. I'm going to ask everyone to take their seats, and we'll get started with Kol Nidre. My friends, as we gather this evening, all the vows on our lips, the burdens in our hearts, the pent-up regrets about which we brooded and spoke through prayers without end on Last Atonement Day, did not change our way of life, did not bring deliverance in the year that is gone. From mountain peaks of fervor, we fell to common ways at the close of the fast. Will you, God, this day, hear our regrets, open our prison, release us from shackles of habit? Will you, God, accept our prayers, forgive our wrongs, though we sin again and again? In the moments of weakness, we do not remember promises of Atonement Day. Recall, O God, that we easily forget. Take only our heart's intent. Forgive us, pardon us, as we begin our Yom Kippur observance with the Kol Nidre service. I ask everyone to please rise as the ark is opened, and we turn to page 204 in our Machzorim.
בישיבה של מעלה ובישיבה של מטה, אדע את המקום ועל דעת הקהל, אנו מתירים להתפלל עם העבריינים.
By the authority of the court on high and by the authority of this court below, with divine consent and with the consent of this congregation, we grant permission to pray with those who have transgressed. Kol Nidre, page 205.
Kol Nidre ve'esarei v'acharmei v'konamei v'chinoyei v'kinosei u'shevot. Vedasa La sheririn velo kayamin nidrono la nidre vesaranna lo essere ushvatana la shvut.
The entire congregation of the people of Israel shall be forgiven, as well as the strangers who dwell among them, for all have erred.
סלח נא לעוון העם הזה כגודל חסרך, וכאשר נסעת על העם הזה ממצרים ועד הנה, ושאר נאמר.
Moses prayed, as befits your abundant love, please forgive this people's sins, just as you have always forgiven this people from the time of the Exodus from Egypt until now. And there it further says, Adonai replied, I have forgiven as you have asked. Baruch atah Adonai, our God, ruler of time and space, for granting us life, for sustaining us, and for bringing us to this moment. Shehecheyanu. You may be seated. It's now my pleasure to call upon one of our past presidents, Jared Bloom, and his wife, Sarah, to address our congregation to speak about why they love this congregation so much.
Lashana Tova. I became a member at Beth Shuren as a young adult. I did not grow up at Beth Shuren. I grew up in New York with strong Jewish values and culture, but not the customs and traditions of conservative Judaism. I yearned for more, a more intense religious practice and education. This journey first led me to attend Brandeis University with a strong Jewish population, where I met my husband, Jared, who led me to Beth Shuren. Beth Shuren has been a valuable resource in my life through its religious practice, education, and inspiration. I studied here and became an adult bat mitzvah when I had finished law school. We were married by Beth Shuren, had our babies named via Beth Shuren, and had both of our children bat mitzvahed here. Our daughter, Amanda, spoke eloquently at her father's presidential conclusion. Our daughter, Rebecca, had the honor and opportunity to sing with our amazing cantors at High Holiday services. These opportunities have allowed us to beam with pride and religious inspiration.
I love that story because I know it has a happy ending. But now the rest of the story. My Beth Shuren journey, like many of you, started when my father, of blessed memory, Michael Bloom, moved his young family down here to Houston in the 1970s when he went to work in the medical center. And this isn't part of the speech, but I had to throw it in because I got brought back to that time with the cello play of when Irving Wadler used to play the violin and did Kol Nidre, so that was amazing. But back to the story, he and my mother, Susan Bloom, raised a young Jewish family here at Beth Shuren. We attended Beth Ayelad, we attended the day school, we had our B'nai mitzvah right here on this bima. My mom had her adult bat mitzvah right here on this bima. The friends and connections in the community that we met at Beth Shuren soon became our family. And like many of you, my journey wasn't always happy and had some mourning and some tough times. But Beth Shuren and the community were here for us when my grandfather died just days before my bar mitzvah. And my father passed last year, and that's when I came to know a part of this community that will always be here every day in the Greenfield Chapel for whoever needs to say Kaddish, whoever needs to see a friendly face, or whomever needs to feel welcomed. However, where my journey differs from most of you is that I served as president for 3 years. Trust me, I was just as surprised as you. In fact, the last time I addressed this congregation on the high holidays, nobody was here. It was COVID, there were 10 people here to make a minyan, and we had a production company here. I spoke to a camera. It is amazing to stand here tonight and to see so many people here, and to know that we are affecting and reaching so many people also online. But that was a very concerning time for Beth Shuren. What was the future? Would people come back? Would people keep paying their dues? Everyone, including our congregants, were hurting. But thanks to the generosity of everyone who continued to pay dues, everyone who volunteered their time and services, and everyone who provided support to allow us to connect with and provide a quality online experience for our congregation and the world, we were able to survive, grow, and evolve into how we connect and how we chose to connect and provided what we provided to our congregation and the community. All of this was because of the tzedakah of our congregation.
Your tzedakah is important during the high holidays, as it allows Beth Shuren to continue growing, evolving, and thriving. Your contribution goes to supplement the operating budget and allows Beth Shuren to open its doors to the community, offer membership to all, and provide religious guidance and inspiration. Dues do not cover all of the expenses. I believe that the beauty and availability of this space and our religious services and programming available to the greater community help to highlight the loving kindness and light that should surround the Jewish people. In order to allow Beth Shuren to continue spreading this light, let's all throw our hands in together to support this congregation.
In this time that we find ourselves, we as Jews need to do everything we can to spread the light. We have the endowment opportunity if you'd like to do that, but tonight on Kol Nidre, before the entire congregation, I want to make a personal appeal, one from my heart, from me to you, from someone who gave their blood, sweat, and tears to this worthy institution. I want 100% participation for the High Holiday Appeal. I want 100% participation because I want you to be a part of helping Beth Shuren spread this light. We need support and buy-in from the entire congregation. In the current climate, we need to be united and strong. We need to be loud and proud to be Jewish. We need to be loud and proud and generous in our support of Beth Shuren. Gemar Chatima Tova.
Thank you, Jared, and thank you, Sarah. And now let's take a few moments, and if I could ask our board members to pick up the appeal cards from those who have not had an opportunity to make their pledge, and we can pass them down to the aisles. And we'll take just a moment to do that. And we thank you for your generous donations. As Jared and Sarah said so eloquently, your donations do make a difference to make sure we can maintain this building and run all the programs and services we have the honor of doing every single day. We thank you for your donations, and for those of you who are joining us online, whether you're a member of Beth Shuren or not a member, and you're joining us from all parts across the world, we ask you also to go on our website and to make your pledge so we can continue to broadcast our services to Jewish members throughout the world. We thank you for your donations, and we thank you, our members, for all you do for our congregation. We're ready now to continue our service. We'll begin now the Ma'ariv section. Page 207, please rise. You may be seated now as we continue at the bottom of page 207. God, you have loved your people, the house of Israel, with infinite love. Ahavat Olam, the top of page 208.
Israel, בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למה אנט ישראל בפיתם? אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Page 210. ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו
Let's read responsively in the English on page 211. Allow us, Adonai, our God, to sleep peacefully and to awaken again to life, our sovereign. Shield us, remove from us enemies and pestilence, sword, starvation, and sorrow, and remove the evil forces that surround us.
Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, for you, God, watch over and deliver us, and you are the sovereign, merciful, and compassionate.
Ensure our going and coming for life and peace now and forever.
May you spread your canopy of peace.
Baruch atah Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us and over all the people Israel and over Jerusalem. The cantor will now chant Hashkivenu, page 211.
Shalom
Baruch atah Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us, over all the people Israel, and over Jerusalem. And let us say, we continue now with the Vishamru, page 212.
Israel,
אטהר אתכם מכל חטאותיכם לפני אדוני התחרו.
For on this day atonement shall be made for you to purify you from all your transgressions. In the presence of Adonai you shall be pure. The story is told of the great Rabbi Zusia, who lived long ago and was once traveling through a small shtetl in Europe. Because of his humble appearance and ragged clothing, the townspeople mistook him for a poor beggar, and so they treated him with little respect, offering only meager food and poor lodging, unaware that he was the revered sage Rabbi Zusia. When the townsfolk later realized and discovered the rabbi's true identity, they were filled with deep remorse and rushed to seek his forgiveness. Rabbi Zusia in his wisdom told them that it was not him they needed to ask for forgiveness, but rather the beggars they had mistreated all year long. My friends, in our day-to-day lives, do we recognize the dignity of all people, not just those who are distinguished? Let us now prepare for our first silent prayer of this Yom Kippur. We rise, page 212.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה בעלמא יברח ירטותי וימליך מלכותי וחייכון ובימכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן יהי שמי רבן מברך לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לילה ולילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעולמה ויאמרו אמן.
Adonai, open my lips, that my mouth may speak your praise. The top of page 213, Adonai sevatai titach, ufi yagid tehilatecha. now we pray silently, page 213 through page 221. Please do continue your prayers as the cantor and the choir lead us in Shalom Rav, which is found on page 218. As God grant abundant and lasting peace to your people Israel and all who dwell on earth, for you are the sovereign master of all the ways of peace.
Shalom.
And now we go from a prayer for peace to a prayer of healing. As we keep in mind all those who are sick now, those we know who are injured, the hostages being held in Gaza, all the injured civilians, we think of all those who now need a refuah shlema, a complete healing of the mind, body, soul, and spirit, as the cantor leads us in a Mishaber prayer. And you may be seated. The first Jewish U.S. Supreme Court Justice, Louis Brandeis, graduated from Harvard Law School at age 20 in 1877. Brandeis not only graduated at age 20, but he graduated with the highest GPA in that school's history. But during his time at Harvard and Harvard Law School, an anti-Semitic professor by the name of Peters did what he could to cause him trouble. On a major oral exam, Brandeis responded brilliantly to all the questions. Unhappy and frustrated, the anti-Semitic professor asked Brandeis the following: "Mr. Brandeis, if you were walking down the street and found a bag of wisdom and another bag with a lot of money, which one would you take?" Without hesitating, Brandeis responded, "The one with the money, of course." Peters, smiling sarcastically, said, "Just like a Jew. Unlike you, I would have taken the wisdom." Brandeis shrugged indifferently and responded, "Each one takes what he doesn't have." There's more. True story. The professor's hate for Brandeis came to a finale when he scribbled on his final exam the word idiot and handed it back to Brandeis. A few minutes later, Brandeis got up, went to the professor, and said to him in a dignified but sarcastically polite tone, "Professor Peters, you didn't give me a grade, but you did autograph the exam sheet." Fortunately, Brandeis did get the last laugh. And Peters' attempts to hurt Brandeis never succeeded. He graduated Harvard in 1877 and went out to have a brilliant career. And like Brandeis, many of us were blessed to attend universities. But I would guess that most of us did not have to deal with openly anti-Semitic professors like Peters. Instead, we got to study with some of the best minds and create so many positive memories. Until recently, we might have expected today's students to enjoy the same kind of enriching and supportive college experience. Yet something has changed. Our Jewish students today are experiencing a different type of campus life. For example, this past May, a panel discussion was conducted on anti-Semitism at Columbia University. As you can imagine, Jewish students and parents broke down, sharing what a difficult year it had been at Columbia. 4 deans attended the event. One was the dean of undergraduate student life. Another was a dean for student and family support. And during the panel discussion, the deans were texting each other. But instead of sharing ways to console and help the Jewish students, the deans were caught dismissing their concerns, even making fun of them. One dean texted that the Jewish students, quote, "come from such a place of privilege. It's hard to hear the woe is me." Another dean wrote, "It's amazing what money can do." One suggested the students were using their so-called anguish for fundraising potential. In this day and age, could you imagine deans at any university texting such hateful comments about any other minority group? One of the deans still holds his same position. The other 3 refused to apologize, and they were still employed, and so they finally resigned in August. Now 2 personal examples. This summer, I was speaking to my nephew who was preparing to leave for his freshman year. He was nervous about the social aspects of university life. Being the good rabbi, I suggested that he check out his university Hillel. But he told me, "Uncle Brian, I'm afraid to go there." He was concerned that he would then be targeted by other students for being Jewish. In this past April, one of my children attended a typical Saturday night college party at an acquaintance's apartment. Soon, a few students approached the party's host, asking the host to tell my kid to leave. Why? Because they had seen my child at an Israel event on campus. So it made these students uncomfortable because my child supported Israel. Unfortunately, the host agreed and asked my kid to leave. I know my child is not alone. Since last October 7th, anti-Semitic incidents on campuses have spiked by 700%. Hillel has documented over 1,800 anti-Semitic incidents, the highest number ever recorded for a single academic year. A recent study found that 55% of those surveyed were or knew someone who was physically threatened because they were Jewish. Jewish students have been called baby killers. Professors have called out students for supporting Israel. Dorm rooms, frat houses, and campus buildings have been vandalized. All of this and more is happening on campuses throughout our country. And I could give you countless examples of stories I've heard from some of your children. 56% of Jewish college students report feeling scared and worried. And yet here's the amazing thing. Today, students and professors pride themselves on being completely accepting of students' differences, where discrimination against any student isn't tolerated. So how could some professors and some students be treating some of our students so badly? How could this be happening to our children? They're good kids, peace-loving, hard-working. I had to find an answer. As a rabbi and as a father of 3 children currently in graduate school and college, here's what I discovered. To begin, let us remember that since many of our grandparents and great-grandparents came to this country with nothing, we as Jews have worked hard for the blessings we have attained. In our people's long history, we have flourished more in America than in any other place. We made it here because this great country was not like any other. It wasn't just a constitutional system that prohibited discrimination on the basis of religion. It was a unique value system that prioritized the rights of the individual, encouraging a majority of Americans to work for the genuine generational progress of equal opportunity for all people. But in recent years, a new approach to education has swept across too many of our universities, one that has replaced the American idea that equal opportunity for the individual is the key to a just society. This new approach demands outcomes based on one's background rather than on one's individual achievements. Now, nothing could be farther from the ideas behind Yom Kippur. On this day, we're judged based on our own merits. We're held accountable for our personal actions, regardless of our background. But according to this new system of beliefs, it's all about your particular ancestry, where you come from. And an overrepresentation of a particular group suggests not talent, not hard work, but unearned privilege. For example, some actually question, we Jews make up just 2% of the American population. So how could it be that for so long, we compromised more than 2% of so many universities? How could we have such unparalleled success compared to our numbers? The conclusion is easy for those who believe that as a group, we've attained too much. Our percentages are not fair. Our scores are considered too high. They falsely claim that we must be part of some kind of conspiracy to exploit others to divvy up our undeserved spoils. Yes, too many people today in this great country, especially on our college campuses, wrongly believe that all Jews are successful for all the wrong reasons. And on many campuses, the concept of success is considered a privilege, resting on the false belief that no matter what, the haves are merely beneficiaries of a rigged system. My friends, these simplistic, binary classifications of entire groups of people seem to have taken root in the minds of many administrators, professors, and students. You're either part of the oppressed or an oppressor. And we American Jews have been defined as the quintessential oppressors. This is actually not a new belief. For too many centuries, all the way through the Middle Ages, anti-Semites on the extreme nationalistic right shared one lie with the extreme Marxist left. We Jews use our excessive power to control the world. And today, more than ever, this awful, powerful belief with anti-Semites is rearing its ugly head here in America. In alt-right racist circles from the extreme right and on the extreme left, now openly in many of our universities. No matter what side it comes from, the labeling of Jews as oppressors has become a permission slip for anti-Semitism. I never thought I would see it here. In my lifetime, this is the first time I have seen it, especially on college campuses. In one poll earlier this year, 16% of non-Jewish college students expressed open hostility towards Jewish students because they believed in the lie that we have too much power. 16%. And unfortunately, these findings align with other polls, including those conducted even with middle school students. Now, if that wasn't bad enough, to make it even more difficult for our students, our Jewish state is deemed to be the world's worst oppressor. Based on similar falsehoods, Israel is considered to be the last remnant of European colonialism, and therefore deserves to be attacked and eventually, God forbid, destroyed. October 7th woke us up to what was already happening. For years, our Jewish students have been grouped into that oppressor category, which offers them little protection. And because Israel is falsely labeled as the ultimate aggressor state, they've also become targets simply for being Zionists. So instead of October 7th creating more sympathy for our students, it quickly became open season to attack them. Just a few hours after the October attack, 31 student organizations at Harvard issued a joint statement, quote, "We hold the Israeli regime entirely responsible for all unfolding violence. The apartheid regime is the only one to blame." At other universities, professors actually signed statements suggesting that the October attack was completely justified. A few months later, we watched the presidents of major universities embarrass themselves before Congress by refusing to unequivocally state that calling for genocide of Jews violated their university's code of conduct. In March, a poll of young adults found that 17% expressed sympathy towards Hamas. Of course, 1% is too many, but 17% of young adults in this country sympathy for terrorists. And then came the widespread campus protests. Like many of you, I watched some of those protests online. I was shocked, not by the hate I saw for Israel. I expected to see that, but by the open hostility towards our students. Signs expressing open support for terrorists, calling for terrorism here. Protesters calling on Jewish students to go back to Poland. Speakers openly telling their supporters to watch out for Zionists on campus, their code word for Jews. And at some universities, which were typically quick to discipline those who made comments that triggered students' safe spaces, suddenly they rediscovered their support for free speech once it was anti-Semitic students engaging in controversial conduct. We saw once again that Jewish students were the only minority, the only one, not fully protected. It was troubling to watch protesters upend campus life, from exams to graduations, block our students from walking freely on campus because they were so convinced their cause was beyond question. It's not, and someone should have made that clear to them. For centuries, colleges existed to give students the conceptual tools to understand the complexities of our world. But today, at too many universities, students are instead being fed these simplistic ideological categories that blind them to reality. And I wish I could tell you it was getting better. In August, an anti-Israel campus group at the University of North Carolina announced its right to use violence, saying the oppressors will never grant us full liberty, so the oppressed must seize liberty with their own hands. It was reported that professors openly helped them with these statements. And 3 days ago, you may have seen this, the most prominent pro-Palestinian student group at Columbia walked back an apology it had issued for a student who said last year, "Zionists don't deserve to live." And to top it off, they added an explicit call for violence. Quote, "We support liberation by any means necessary, including armed resistance." Statements like these put our students in danger. It's only October, And yet there's already been multiple attacks against Jewish students this academic year. Now, I hope you understand why this is happening on college campuses. That we all see this is a serious moment for our students, and why I felt it was necessary to bring it up on the most important night of the year. It's depressing, and it's frightening. But before it gets even worse, is there anything you and I can do? The great Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel once said, "The opposite of goodness is not evil, it's silence." Today is not the time for silence. The one choice that is not acceptable is to do nothing. A college student leader recently said, "People often ask me, when looking at anti-Semitism on college campuses, has the golden age of American Jewry ended?" He said, "My answer is simple. Not without a fight. Not without a fight." Tonight, I want to offer 3 suggestions. 1, can you and I do more to keep our students safe? For example, the U.S. Senate should finally pass the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act, which already passed the House of Representatives earlier this year in an overwhelming bipartisan vote. This would give the Department of Education the ability to enforce federal anti-discrimination laws in order to fully protect our students. And in the meantime, because all forms of discrimination should be treated with the same attention and vigilance, can we demand that university administrators treat anti-Semitism with the same seriousness as all forms of hatred? We expect them to hold all students accountable for their actions, enforcing the rules already in place to stop illegal protests and encampments. And can we insist that university heads support all their students, enforce all the rules equally, or step down? And if they don't, let's send our students to those colleges who have stood up against anti-Semitism. Let's choose those schools where our children can be safe. Because the choices you and I make as families can make a difference. Number 2, a lot of damage has been done to higher education. It may take decades to repair. According to Gallup, in 2015, 57% of Americans expressed high confidence in college education. Last year, the number had fallen to 36%. And some distinguished schools are now reporting a drop in applications. But you and I know having a top-tier education system where all minorities are protected is not only good for us, it's good for our country. Fighting for all the universities is the least we owe our children in this country that we love. And let's not forget, there is still some excellence in today's academia. Plenty of terrific, fair-minded professors and administrators, plenty of good reasons to send our children to college. But we have work to do. The intellectual decay is widespread, and it won't stop spreading until universities recommit to their core mission. Their core mission is not to tell our students what to think. That's not their job. Their job is to help our young learn how to think on their own. Is that crickets or someone's phone? It's my fault. I forgot to tell everyone to turn off their ringers. I think that's a real cricket. I don't know what that is. Okay. It must be an anti-Zionist who put that in there. Okay. My last point, number 3. I remember last spring when I asked my son if he was okay as the protests grew on the University of Texas campus. My son told me it was frightening, but he was fine because he had a strong Jewish community he could count on. When I speak to our college students, they often tell me that having an active campus community makes a huge difference. Can you and I do more to support those great student organizations that are there for our children? Hillels, Campus Chabads, other Jewish student organizations that help our students. I'm thankful to the campus Jewish professionals for doing what they do so well, being there for our students and inspiring them to be the leaders now and in the future. And I also want to thank those students that are here tonight. You've shown resilience and care for one another in such challenging times. Many of you have been unafraid to demonstrate your pride in being Jewish. And by doing so, you've brought us a lot of pride. We're proud that many of you have had the courage to stick to your Jewish values, your Zionism, and with your fellow Jews. Because all of you, our students, deserve a safe learning environment, free from harassment and discrimination. Louis Brandeis didn't have that. Many of your grandparents, parents, and people like me had that safe campus experience. And I hope and pray, working together, so will you. On our most significant night of the year, I want our young people to know, whether you're in college now or heading to college in the future, we as your parents and your grandparents, rabbis and synagogue community, we will not stop. We will not stop until all college campuses are safe for our Jewish students. We owe that to you, our children, and we owe it to the future of our people in this extraordinary country. Thank you. And now let's return to our service. One of my favorite prayers of the night continues now on page 223, the Ya'aleh, as we welcome our member Benjamin Musher and Max as well. Max, it's great to see you up here also. As we rise, page 223.
Kol Nidre,
And you may be seated now. As we continue on the top of page 225, the soul is yours, the body is your creation. Have compassion, O God, on your handiwork. Hanishamalach. And now we turn to page 232 as we prepare for the confessional section of our service. The cantor begins at the top of the page, El Melech Yoshev.
It's
ויעבור אדוני על פניו ויקרא וסלחת לעווננו ולחטאתנו ולחטאנו. סלח לנו אבינו כי חטאנו, וחלנו מלכנו כי פשענו. כי אתה אדוני טוב וסלח, כי אתה אדוני טוב וסלח, ורב חסד לכל קוראיך, ורב חסד לכל קוראיך.
Forgive us, our Creator, for we have sinned. Pardon us, our Sovereign, for we have transgressed. For you, Adonai, are kind and forgiving. You act generously to call all who call on you. We rise now. Shema Kolenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hear our voice, Adonai our God. Be kind and have compassion for us. Willingly and lovingly accept our prayer. Page 233. Our God and God of our ancestors, do not abandon us, do not forsake us, do not shame us, do not annul your covenant with us. Draw us close to your Torah, teach us your mitzvot, show us your ways. You may be seated now as we continue on page 234. Ki anu amecha, for we are your people, and you are our God. In a few weeks, we'll read in the Torah the story of Rebecca, our matriarch, known for her virtue and strength of character. Yet the Torah makes a point of telling us about the wickedness of her family. The tradition teaches that Rebecca was the daughter of a wicked man, sister of a wicked man, and her native place was one of wicked people, yet she did not learn from their deeds. Now, why include these details? Why not omit this unflattering part of Rebecca's background? Because by overcoming the challenges of her background, Rebecca, our matriarch, teaches us a powerful lesson. No matter one's past, one can still achieve remarkable greatness. In our tradition, Rebecca is often referred to as like a lily among thorns, a metaphor that reflects her ability to rise above the adversity of her upbringing, surrounded by thorns, yet blossoming as a lily. And the great 19th century African-American leader Booker T. Washington once observed, "Success is to be measured not so much by the position one has reached in life as by the obstacles which one has overcome." Our tradition often speaks of goodness as a great light, but darkness that transforms into goodness shines even brighter. Let us now rise for our confessional section. We begin with the Shamnu, page 235. The custom, as if you're wearing a tallit, is to gather all four corners. And at the mention of each sin, each thing we did as individuals or as a community, we beat our chests to wake ourselves up to do better this new year. The top of page 235. And now we continue with the second confessional, the top of page 237. על חטא.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בעונש וברצון, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך באימוץ חלב, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בבלי דת, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בביטוי שפתיים, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בגולי הרעות, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בגלוי ובסתר, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בדעת ובמרמה, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בדיבור פה, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בהונאת רעה, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בחרחור הלב, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בבעידת תזונות, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בווידוי פה, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בזלזול חוריד ומורים, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בזדון ובשגגה, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בחוזק יד, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בחילוך השם, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בטומאת שפתיים, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בטיפשות פה, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך ביצר הרע, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך ביודעים ובלא יודעים. על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בעיניים רמות, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בעזות מצח. על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בתשמעות יד, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בתמחול לבב.
You may be seated now as we continue with the Kaddish Shalem, page 245.
she
Now please rise for the Aleinu, page 246.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המוענם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. שימו את השמיים ויעשה לך. אוקיי, נקרא לך.
You may be seated. And now the Mourner's Kaddish for mourners and those observing yahrzeit. Page 247. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayedecho beit Yisrael ba'agala u'vizman kari v'imeru Amen. Yehei shemei Rabba mevorach le'olam olamei almaya Yitbarak v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'richu le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imeru Amen. Yehei shalama Rabba min hashemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imeru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imeru Amen.
Good evening again. I just wanted to share just a few quick announcements with you. I hope everyone will be here tomorrow. We'll begin our service here at 9:30 a.m. in the Barg Sanctuary. and everything you normally love about Yom Kippur in our Barg Sanctuary will begin then. And I hope you'll consider staying all day. After Yizkor, we have a beautiful Musaf service with some of our most important prayers of our holy day. Later during the Musaf service, Evan Varadi will speak about his family's experience in the Shoah. We'll have two Jews by choice. Meniza Mirza Gruber will lead a mindfulness practice during our break. And at 4 p.m., we'll begin our Mincha service led by our teens. We have some wonderful teen speakers this year, Vera Jacobs, Colin Steinberg, and Riley Most. And Rabbi Fort will deliver her sermon at the end of our Mincha service, a wonderful message for all of us, especially our young. And then our Ne'ilah service will start at 5:45, and afterwards at 6:45 p.m., our children will meet in the Freeman Levitt Sanctuary and prepare for our annual Havdalah glow stick procession. They'll come in the Barg Sanctuary with their glow sticks, and we'll end Yom Kippur with the final blast of the shofar at 7:18 p.m. It's a beautiful ending to the day, and I hope many of you will join us. And we're happy to have this tradition now, as we've had for many years here at Beth Yeshurun. We also have our family services, our museum minion, our Greenfield Chapel service. All the information you need is on your high holiday ticket. Our Sisterhood Torah Fund is going to be November 12th, and Sisterhood will honor two dedicated and deserving members, Jordana Rotman and Fanny Frederick, with the Martha Lee Stein Women of Achievement Award. They'll also honor our longtime member, Linda Brandt, and Israeli General Consul Livia Lee Raviv will be the keynote speaker. That's the Sisterhood Torah event on November 12th. I wanted to announce for the first time that this summer, my wife Lisa and I will be leading a congregational trip to Germany, to Berlin, and then to Poland. We'll go to Warsaw and to Krakow. We'll see many of the concentration camps. We'll have an opportunity to see what happened to our people, so we pray it never happens again. It's more important than ever to learn what happened, to witness what happened, to see it so that we can come back and educate our non-Jewish neighbors and friends to make sure in this, unfortunately, those are out there who deny the Holocaust even happened. It's more important than ever that we go and we see what happened. There's an interest form online, and if you're interested, go there. You can complete that interest form or contact me in my office, and we'll be going this summer, late June, for 9 days, and it'll be a trip I believe will be very, very life-changing, to Berlin and then to Poland this summer. Finally, and most importantly, I want to offer a wonderful and important thank you for leading our beautiful service this evening to my colleague, Cantor Goldman, to Julie Sachs, and to our choir. Beautiful job tonight. Thank you. We're also blessed to have Anthony Katai, a cellist with the Houston Symphony, and on the faculty. He's also on the faculty of the University of Houston Moores School of Music. So thank you for being with us this evening, for doing the second rendition of Kol Nidre. Again, it's wonderful to see all of you here, and I wish everybody a Gamar Chatima Tova, a good and easy fast, a meaningful one, and may we all be sealed for a good year. Let's conclude our service now with Yigdal, page 250.
Yeah.
Chatzima Tova.